Hello my fellow researchers and welcome to another video in this video series known as SPSS is Fun. My name is Jason and in this video I'm going to show you how to produce bar graphs in SPSS. Now bar graphs are awesome because they allow you to display data from a number of different sorts of variables. Generally you're going to be using a ordinal or a nominal variable along the x-axis, and you're going to have a continuous variable along the y-axis. However, SPSS allows you to include up to 4 variables in your bar graphs in what are called clustered 3D bar graphs. And so I'm going to show you what those are in this video. So I'm going to go to my data here. Here's my data editor window. And in my data editor window, we're looking at the variable view tab. And you can see here I have 4 variables: sex, which is nominal; age, which is scale; education is ordinal; and ethnicity, which is also nominal. And my values, or my categories, for sex is males are 1, females are 2. That's nominal, so the numbering is arbitrary. Age is continuous, it's a scale, so we don't have any particular set categories. Ethnicity, for simplicity, or for education, we only have 3 categories. 1 is high school, 2 undergraduate, and so on. Same thing for ethnicity here. Just to keep it simple, I only have 3 ethnicities. So this will make everything look, just easier to visualize. All this data is fake. None of this data is real. Okay, that being said, let's get started. So I'm going to go to Graphs, and I'm going to hit Chart Builder. We're going to be using the Chart Builder function. There are other ways of making graphs, but the Chart Builder function is easy, and that's something that I use for most of my research. So here we have bar graph right here in this tab, and it gives us a bunch of options. So if I click on each of those options will change. But click on the bar graph, and here we have a number of options, and the first one is just a simple bar graph. So all I'm going to do is left click and drag it up into this window right here. Now you can see it's asking me y-axis, x-axis, so it wants me to put something in there. So let's put sex on the x-axis. And that's traditionally what you'll do. You'll put your nominal or ordinal variable on the x-axis. Now I have age, which is continuous. I'm going to throw age on the y-axis. Now what is it going to do? It's going to calculate the mean age for each of these groups. So it's going to do that calculation for you. If you look at my raw data here for age, I don't have any. These are not mean ages. These are ages for each of these cases or participants. So the graph will automatically calculate the mean age for males and the mean age for females, and then it's going to plot that just like this. Easy breezy. Again, this is our output window. So here you can see that these are 2 different bars, and they're separated by a space, and that's because this is a nominal variable. It's not a continuous variable, and if it was a continuous variable, for example age, if we had age on the x-axis, then we could use a histogram, because a histogram would not have a space in between each of the bars. So if you look at my other video on histogram creation, you'll notice that we used continuous variables on the x-axis. So let's go ahead and try another one. Graphs, Chart Builder, and in this case I'm going to go with the clustered bar graph. And now the clustered bar graph, as soon as I dragged it in there, sex is still there. Let's take sex out of there. On the x-axis, it's asking us for something, so let's just put education on the x-axis. And on the y-axis, again, you're going to want to put your continuous variable, mean age, and we can have a third variable over here, cluster on x, set color. So I'm going to put sex there for a nominal variable. And now when I hit OK, this is what it gives us. Age, again, on the x-axis, education on the x-axis, our mean age on the y-axis, and the clustered variable, sex, is being represented as blue for males and green for females. And you can see that here we have males and females who have a high school degree, and this is their mean age. Males and females who have an undergraduate degree, this is their mean age. You know, one thing to keep in mind when interpreting these graphs is that visual differences, for example, the distance from the top of this graph, this bar, to the top of this bar, might look like a lot, but you always have to keep in mind the scale. Now, in this case, our scale goes from 0 to 60, so that's good. That's good. But some scales might start at, for example, 50 and end at 60. And in reality, it looks like a big difference, but it's really not a big difference. So always keep an eye out for the scale used on the y-axis. That's a big thing to consider. Okay, graphs, chart builder. Let's try the simple 3D one. This one's cool. Again, it allows you to use three variables. I'm going to put age in the y-axis, and I'm going to put sex in the z-axis. So the z-axis is going along the bottom here. I'm going to hit OK. And this is what we get. So we have males and females here, and then we have education on the x-axis and mean age on the y-axis. This is similar to the one we just created, but it's just displayed differently. Instead of males and females having their own color, here now they have their own axis. So I'm going to do one last graph for you, and this time we're going to use 4 variables because we're going to use the clustered 3D bar graph. So I'm going to put sex up here. In this section right here, it's always going to determine which variable is causing or is responsible for the clustering. And I'm going to put ethnicity on the z-axis. So we have age on the y-axis, education on the x-axis, ethnicity on the z-axis, and then sex is our clustered variable. I'm going to hit OK, and look what we get. Wow, so we have 4 variables here on a bar graph. And this is really cool because you can see here, these are all the graduates. These are all the undergraduates. They're hidden behind these bars here. All the high schoolers, plus you can see males and females, and you can see their ages. This doesn't look that great because we have something blocking us here, right? These bars are blocking the bars in the back. So all I'm going to do is double click, and our chart editor window pops right up here. See this little button right here? Rotating 3D chart. Click on that, and if you know exactly how you want it oriented, you could type in the numbers here, or just go ahead and click on the graph, left click and hold, and then just move your mouse. And look at that. Beautiful. So I'm going to leave it just like that. That looks good. And as soon as you click the X up here, it's going to reset here in my editor window, or my output window. So now I can see black, white, Hispanic in this axis, and then I have education, high school, undergraduate, and graduate, plus green and blue is males and females, and the mean ages. So very cool, 4 variables in our bar graph. So I'm not going to continue on with the bar graphs. If you have any questions, please feel free to message me. I think that should give you enough information at least to get started on creating our own bar graphs. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for my next video in this video series. Cheers.